Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is David G, and I'm an account executive from Play MPE. And today we are very lucky to have our guest, gospel artist Jokia Williams. Her song, Yahweh, has been charting on the Billboard Gospel charts, reaching the #1 spot. And of course, we are very proud to say that the song was distributed through Play MPE and promoted by Revival Music Company's Terrence Howell. Hi, Jokia. Thanks so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you, David. I'm excited.
Tell me a little bit of something about some award ceremony that you just got
Yeah,
attached to. Tell me a little bit more about that, and then we'll get into some other fun stuff. This is
yeah.
very
So
exciting.
I know I got a call to be a part of the Stellar Awards. It's a gospel award show, and I'm excited. I'll be able to perform, and I'll also be presenting an award on the pre-show. And some people get around other celebrities and they're really cool. No, I'm the one that's like, oh my God. So I'm excited for who I'm going to see. I've had an encounter with CeCe Winans. I hope to see her. She's just a true icon who has just done great things. So I hope to see her again, Kirk Franklin and different things like that. So if I do, I'm going to be capturing all of those moments. I'm like the person that is, how you're at home and you're living vicariously through someone. I am going to be personally representing all of us that are at home and catching the moments that I would care about if I was at home watching and things that I would want to know and see. So I take pride in doing that.
I can already feel the energy and excitement just oozing
Yeah.
out of the computer. So I'm very, very excited for you. It's going to be
Yeah.
a time to never forget, really, and especially with all
Yeah.
this momentum that you've built up. I'm sure there's plenty of these artists who have now, maybe who previously were your idols or still are, of course, that
Yeah.
are like, hey, who is this Jokia? Who's coming up? Who's coming up? And then,
Every ceremony is going to be watching, and we're talking about some of the most amazing people who have done great things in music are going to be watching that little bitty moment, and I'm like, God, thank you. I'm so grateful that the Lord would allow me to have this opportunity, and I'm just going to seize the day for it. I really am.
yeah, very exciting, very exciting. Everyone, make sure to tune in to Jokia's socials because she'll be, doing some live
Yeah.
streams, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Well, congratulations. That's definitely something we wanted to highlight for you. Um, and kind of coming back to it, we
Yeah.
all have our start and we all have our beginnings. So, like, tell us, when did you start singing and making music? How did it all get started?
So I started singing professionally in 2015. That's when the Lord kind of told me, hey, like to really kind of go after and pursue this professionally in 2015. I've been singing since I was 12 years old and writing music. I didn't even know if I was good or not. I love the fact of what music could do. The way that it impacted me, the way that it impacted others. Like to this day, if any person hears a song, we attach music to experiences or moments. So a song that we may have heard when we were a child, when we hear it today, we instantly attach it to that memory. And that is so powerful. And the fact that people can speak different languages from all across the world, listen to a song, may not even understand, but sing a song. I remember singing Selena, and I don't even know the lyrics, like what it's what it means, but I can sing the song and I love it, and I actually prefer it in Spanish more than English. And so I love music, and so my start was in when I was 12, but professionally to take it serious and hone in on a craft and a skill and make it polished was 2015. And so I still don't even know that I'm that good. I just love it. I really don't even care. I just love the way I do it. That's what and how God is glorified. So yeah.
That's incredible. What was the maybe the memory that you have attached, if you don't mind sharing, to that Selena
Yeah.
track? What is it vivid still in your mind?
Absolutely. It's the movie.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
that was the scene, the part in the movie. But from watching the movie, staying up and seeing her journey, and she was so humble and so transparent. And this is the way the movie was transcending how she was. But just today, she still has an impact long after her passing she has such a huge impact to this day. And that is phenomenal. I remember listening to Tevin Campbell and Aaliyah. And I remember now when I hear certain songs, Mary J. Blige, when I would put on I can, like, even thinking about it, recalling it, I remember having my headset for my cassette player with the pencil, winding it up. I don't know if anybody's that old, but listen, I had the cassette where I was winding it. And so when I hear those songs, I think back to that cassette player that I had.
The portable device that kids nowadays will have no idea how easy they have it, because anti-skip was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah. Listen, hear the other side of the song, you pop it open, you pull the tape out, you put it on the other side, you close it up. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was that.
And now you just next. And that's it.
Next. On your phone at that. On your phone. Like, even to looking at the devices and how music has transcended through that. I mean, I remember going to the CD player. You couldn't scratch up the CD. And then there was the iPads came out, iPods. Then you had like this little thing. And then now it's so much now to the point to where it's on our phone devices. And that's really cool too. Like, okay, wow. Like, it's really innovative, how music
exactly
through the era.
Just the progression of it all, and how things have kind of moved into digital spaces. So we're us as a platform, we're very fortunate to be able to help artists such as yourselves in order to get to these new levels of exposure, acknowledgement, and success. But still, as we move forward to this digital era, right in the palm of all of those tastemakers' hands, which is really exciting. So of course, reading through your Billboard feature, the article says you're only 22. What is it? So age isn't a thing. Let's just say start off, but
what the cool, awesome thing is that Billboard cared about me so much. They said she looks 22. So it was a mistake that they did that, but I don't know if it was really a mistake. Maybe they were like, no, there's no way she's in her 30s. She's 22. So I'm actually 32. They put 22, but I'm rolling with it. I'm not, who's going to correct it?
Maybe that's your soul's age is going to remain 22.
In heart and in looks, I'm 22.
There you go. Not a day past.
I'm 32 years old. My birthday is July 26th, so I'll be turning 33 this year. And that's a blessing. I'm excited to be able to age beautifully, gracefully, and to be able to have more life. And I've been able to get, unscathed by some of the things that people have went through during this season of COVID. And so that's been really tough. So I'm really grateful that, I haven't had that experience. So this year for 2021, I'm just grateful. I am 32 right now, going on 33, but I thank you, Billboard, for the love. I thank y'all.
There you go. Staying ageless. Yeah. Well, happy early birthday. Happy early birthday. Make sure everyone, if you're seeing and tuning into this, if it's in advance, go say happy birthday to Jokia later this month. Give her some of that love. But of course, at your age, you've also started to write your own material and run your own independent label as well. When did you start your own independent label?
You know what? 2015, I was looking to be signed and have a record deal, and I went to an event called Discovered. It was like a seminar to teach you about the business and about music. And there was a contest that I had won, and I thought I was getting a record deal. It was myself and another gentleman who had won, and he got a record deal and I didn't. And the cool thing about not getting it that I didn't understand at that time is that the person who was giving this deal, he actually taught my husband, Ben, and I the business and taught us how to function. At the time, I only saw rejection. I was like, oh, I'm being rejected. Why didn't I get it? And now we're talking about in 2021, I've honed in and settled into accepting what it is that was bigger and greater that I didn't pay attention to. I didn't pay attention to and realize that someone was teaching me how to fish. And I'm like, no, just, I want your fish. I don't want to do it. And so having my own label, you are responsible for putting the music out, making relationships and connections, and Play MPE was a big part of that, that journey and discovering and understanding that even as an independent artist and as an independent label, and working even with Terrence, we have access, and that is massive. Essentially, you guys are helping dreams be made come true by the fact of you don't only have to have a big machine engine behind you to have your music exposed. And so that is really what I've done. I'm really the poster child of this method, you know what I mean? Of you can do it. You can do it. You can do your dreams. There are companies and entities that are supporting the indie artists and the independent labels. So
yeah, that's incredible. And that's exactly it. There's tools at your disposal as an independent or an independent label where maybe that was not as accessible in the past or harder to really discover. Play MPE, we love to be able to service content for all of those artists at different parts of their career, from very first single to maybe multiple years in releasing their 6th, 7th album, who knows? But you have the opportunity with the tools at your disposal as an independent artist. And that's definitely taking more of a turn in the industry, which is exciting, so that you as the artist or the label have more control, right?
Yeah. And, believe it or not, more major labels are looking for partnerships with artists. They're looking for partnerships with other entities. So if you are an independent artist and have an independent label, they're more apt to partner with you and see, well, what have you done? What wavelengths and efforts have you put in business-wise outside of just the creative? Now we're in the day of age where you have to be more than just a creative. You have to be interested in what happens to your success with the business. And that is where I'm seeing labels today. They're looking for that. They're looking for that to partner. And you're right, things have changed from decades ago. Back in the day, it used to be, you can be in a bar singing and someone can come in, hear you, sign you, whisper you away for a record deal. And not saying that those don't happen today, but they're very far in between. And the reason why is because there are so many people and individuals who have taken ownership of their creative and really put their efforts into that, and it has grown where now that tends to stand out sometimes more than just being the creative. So it's a happy dance, and it can be tough. It's not easy. It really isn't, because moments where you want to be a creative, you have to think about business. Sometimes when you want to do just business, you have to think about creative. So it's important when you have stuff like that happen, the team, building a good team that can help you navigate both of these type of worlds and marry them. And so I've been fortunate enough to have all of those components.
Yeah, being able to wear multiple hats can be difficult, right? You don't know which one to put on at the right time, or you have both on at once.
But you know what? Right, though, when you think about it, like, we are brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, friends, neighbors. It's instinctual to be able to wear different hats. Like, the way we are with friends is different from the role that we have at work. It's different from the role we have with mom. With mom, we may be a lot more softer, and with dad, we're a little bit more listening. So we are trained to have these functions. And so now I believe, like, the Lord has really encouraged us all that it's the same thing with our dreams and our passions. Like, that shouldn't stop. We shouldn't just be one track. We still have to take off the hat and put on the appropriate hat for what we're doing.
Yeah, I really love that you mentioned that, because it is something that comes as second nature. It's even just me saying it. It's like, yeah, sometimes I gotta switch my hat. You don't know which one to put on. But yeah, you're completely right. You're doing it at all different points throughout your day when you're talking to different individuals. So if you're doing it that way already subconsciously, then it's that hat is there for you to take and to wear, right? Yeah. I got way too many hats, so it's kind of a good analogy too.
But I'm glad you said that, because that's true too. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to wear, when it comes to the creative space, we tend to only want to be creative. Like, I don't want to do business with this. I just want to create. I don't want to wear multiple hats. I only want to wear this one hat. But now we are in a space where music is so accessible. We are our hand is kind of forced to where we do have to take on those different roles. We do have a decision of voice. And I think that's really what it is. It's creating a voice in business for the music. And I'm grateful for it. I didn't understand it. I'm telling you, I didn't understand it at first. I just saw it all negative. I just saw it as, no, what about taking a chance on me, and not, no, take a chance on yourself.
Yeah, all about the perspective, right?
Yeah.
It looks like completely separate things, but if you're always looking out for putting yourself first, others are going to see that drive and that passion, are going to want to be a part of that to help you, achieve those sort of goals and those dreams that you have for yourself, because that sort of stuff is infectious. And who doesn't want to have that sort of person around on their teams as well, right? So I guess in that same sort of sense as well, do you have any sort of stories or advice that you would share with any aspiring young gospel artists who are watching this? Like, of course, looking out for themselves and being able to put on those hats, but any specific advice that you'd be able to share?
Yeah, you know what? It's important that you build a healthy team. Even if your team starts out with you and one other person, roll with that, and make sure that your team has the same goals. I think that that's important. It's there's always one person on the front, but it really takes many people. Like, even though we see Jeff Bezos with Amazon and we see Elon Musk, we see all these different people, there is a massive team behind these billionaires, behind this wealth. And so it's the same thing. So I would say partnering with the right team. And even though someone may look successful or something may look like it worked for someone else, your journey is different from someone else's path. So, in short, my advice would just be to build a healthy team that's on the same page, and make sure that everyone on your team is driven. Once you have that, I began to see things evolve slowly but surely. It wasn't just my creative. It was the people that I have around me, my husband, Ben, Terrence, you, David. I realized, David, I've known you actually for some time. And I look back years ago from my emails. I remember when I started, absolutely. Years ago, if you go back and look in the archives, I was looking out as it relates to about services and what's offered. And I'm like, wow, I've known that we go way back,
No way. We did introduction emails with each other and probably walked through it all.
Yes, absolutely.
Whoa, crazy. Full circle.
Yes. So having a healthy team is what it's about. But again, having that work ethic, people will want to come and be added a part of the team. They're going to say, hey, what can I do? How can I be a part? How can I assist you? How can I help you? Because I see what you're doing and I see how I can be of some assistance to make your team and make what you're trying to do greater, better,
Yeah. No, I also really love the fact that you said you got to find people who have the same common goals or have the same sort of mindset, because often, you find people who may be interested in assisting you. And because you want to focus on maybe wearing one particular hat, you offer that sort of reign to someone else. And this is just off of experience through talking with other artists and stuff, of course, myself included as an artist prior, I don't want to wear that business hat right now. I just want to focus on some music. So I'd pass that off to somebody else. But making sure you're on the same page is important, because if the end goal isn't the same, somewhere along that path, there'll be some deviation. And that's not because anyone's doing something incorrect. It's just that it wasn't on the same page. So I think that's a really good highlight for anyone listening and who's an aspiring artist.
I would say too, that is that as you grow, sometimes what may work in the beginning may not be the same that works at a different time. And that's okay. Journeys may change, ideas may change, vision. You may think, wow, I started this way thinking I wanted this, but I think I really want this now. I think that because that was my situation. I thought I needed a label to be successful. If I don't have a big record deal, then I'm not good enough. I won't have the fame. I won't have doors or opportunities open to me without it. So in the beginning, my idea was, this is the component I need. So that was the vision. That was what the team was working towards. Yeah. As we began to work through things, I realized, I don't think we're needing that as much as I thought, So
you're rewriting as you're going along, right?
Yeah, and the team has to be able to evolve with that. And sometimes if they can't, it's okay that things may change. And it doesn't have to be turmoil, but that may change. Companies and entities evolve all the time. Promotions happen. Like, you know what? We're going to take you out of the mail room and we're going to put you as the executive. That happens. Things change and evolve. And so, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I guess when you were a young artist yourself, was there any particular artist that you kind of looked up to? Of course, you kind of mentioned some that you'll be potentially seeing over at the Stellar Awards. But were there any specifics that you looked at as, inspiration when you're younger? But then, of course, as we were talking about this natural progression, have those tastes evolved as well over time?
You know what? I think the people that I liked in the beginning, I still like them today for the same reasons. When I started to be a Christian artist, a gospel artist, I had so many diverse, sounds that I loved and people that I loved. Like, I loved Casting Crowns. I felt like their music was like very strong. Like, I was like, wow. I love Kirk Franklin for his songwriting. I felt like he was super daring. I was like, oh my God. CeCe Winans, to me, when I heard her music, it wasn't that she did all of these vocal acrobats. It was that she was super sweet, and I could it just transcended through the music. And Ty Tribbett, he's super radical. I'd never seen a rock star, a gospel artist, and he was like a rock star to me. And I'm like, y'all can do that in gospel? Like, what?
breaking boundaries.
Yeah, Toby Mac, to be honest with you, when I heard Toby Mac, I seen how Toby Mac was trying to break barriers with racial divide. And I love that. Toby Mac he has like a Rainbow Coalition on his label. I love that. And then I for me, that was so important. I'm like, wow, I appreciate that. So those artists I still appreciate today. There's so many new artists that are coming up that I appreciate too. Their sounds, Maverick City's doing a killer job. But I love them all, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't think it's anybody that I liked and I'm like, I don't like them anymore. No, I like everybody still for those same reasons, Yeah,
exactly. You've just added to your repertoire of artists that you appreciate that much more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. So tying back to some of how you started again, you mentioned that you were an Army veteran.
Oh yeah.
How has that shaped the way you write your songs, and how has that experience affected you as an artist?
Yeah. When I was in the Army, before I gave my life to Christ, there was this evangelist, this guy, and he would say, before I gave my life, he would say, hey, you can sing very well. Why don't you sing for God? And I'm like, no, God doesn't really, my sound is not accepted. I've heard what gospel music is. It's a choir. That's not me. I'm a skinny Black girl with a guitar. It's not gonna work. So I really lost in music and I had no understanding. And so being in the military, once I gave my life to Christ, my heart was more open and receiving. And I just wrote what was, for me, I wrote what I felt in my encounter. So being in the military, it really taught me to write from experience, write from the truth. not write from a place of what's expected, not write from a place of how something should sound, but just write from a place of genuine authenticity from my heart and what I wanted to say. So I think the Army really played a major part in that for me. So even today, I still write that way. I know there's writing camps and there's ways that different people have a different method. They can watch something, see something, and they can write. And I can do that as well. But the music for me that has really worked has always been music that I've personally experienced or I personally encountered, because my relative truth about it can't be shaken. It's, I'm certain about my experience. And so military gave me that. The when your life is on the line, you'll start writing from a true place.
Exactly. There's no hiding from your true self at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Yeah. So like the storytelling and everything is very much so of your own experiences and is to everything that you've gone through, which is why I think that's possibly how Yahweh resonated with so many other people as well, because it was something that sounded familiar to them through their own experiences as well.
Yeah.
And I guess touching on Yahweh, what was the story behind that? How did you come to write that track?
So the straw that broke the camel's back is, I remember 2017, I requested to be nominated for Stellar Award. I was going through the process. I got to the end and I didn't make it. But for me, when I didn't make it, I'm like, here we are again. Why is this not working? I'm following what to be the business blueprint. Why am I not seeing the results I want to see? And when I got to that place, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun at this point. It's more hurtful. And I just I don't want to do this. I'd rather go back into my cubby hole and like cheer on other worshipers, other singers. I'm cool with that. Play my guitar background, and it's easy. I know what I'm getting into. And I think the Lord allowed me to get to that place, because at that moment, when I wanted to quit is where the Lord really kind of dealt with me in my heart. And I realized I didn't have God first. I had my dreams first. And my selfish ambition to see what I really always wanted to be come to pass. So I put God first, and I realized that, why am I taking all of this as rejection? Why am I finding validation? My validation was, if this doesn't happen, then who am I? So I realized, if I'm finding validation in this level of success, that's a problem. Like, that's an inward issue, an outlook. So I had to get healed and delivered and change the way I was thinking about my identity and my validation. And I no longer, started moving and doing business as it relates to being validated by opportunities or the lack thereof. So once that shifted, I started to write a song, and the lyrics started to unfold, because it was true. It was a true statement, what I was saying. I realized I was moving also out of fear of, man, I wanted to be liked, because in my thought, my modality is, if you're not liked, you won't be advanced. Right. So the lyrics started out with, love came rushing in, so fear couldn't have me. I thought about giving up, but walked in where you promised me. So I realized, like, wait a minute, Ooh. Like, Ooh. Those lyrics became true to me, that, okay, you know what? I got to do this for God because I love him, not do it because I want him to bless me and what I want. You know what I mean?
Right.
My no longer became in opportunities. My validation is in him. My validation is, if after this interview, nothing ever happens again, I'm satisfied with who I am, and that's what it's about. If you have to wait to get to the mountaintop to be validated, well, when the mountain collapses, then who are you? And that's not what God wants.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the journey, right?
Yeah. So that song came from, I literally wrote out exactly that experience. Yeah.
Incredible. I mean, you sing in those lyrics. I've definitely listened to the song multiple times, but that little performance you just gave us, exclusive, gave me the chills, because you can feel the emotion as well as really hearing the lyrics.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That was lovely.
Oh, sure.
So of course, you are an independent charting artist on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
Congratulations again, right? It's an amazing feat. Obviously, ourselves at Play NP, we're really pleased to be able to be part of that success story and getting your music heard by tastemakers. We're just so fortunate.
Right.
But of course, it also takes a lot of work and professionalism when you're an indie artist to get past all the gatekeepers. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that sort of approach looked like for you as an independent?
Yeah, you know what? For me, it began with building the team, honestly. Once I realigned and got myself into alignment with God and recognized where my validation came from and my identity and began to do that, now when I began to seek out relationships, it was in alignment with that. It was in alignment with, not out of desperation. You know what I mean? Before it was desperate, like gotta, hey, you do great.
Be on my team. Be on my team. Come on, let's go.
On my team, where now, and even too, once that shift happens, being a part of my team was, you understand with where I'm trying to go. And this is how I'm trying to get there, but not at the level of compromising my value of validation. And that is where, now how in the way I seeked out the right people to add to my team began to happen. And that's really where it helped with the gatekeepers, because they had relationships that I didn't have. I remember, what's his name? Mitch Soleric. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Mitch Soleric, but Mitch Soleric is responsible for Mary. Mary is management. He's worked with Corinne Hawthorne. He has like a great roster. And I never even met the man, but I recall a long time ago, like, I got to get Mitch Soleric because he can help it. He can help me. I remember having this idea. Now today, God bless Mitch, if you ever sees this interview, hey. But
hey, Mitch.
Yeah, I have a manager. Her name is Burl Howard. And once my vision changed as it relates to lining it up truthfully, who I wanted on the team, it was like designed, it was special. And I was able to be patient too. No longer like, I gotta have it today. I was patient, like, all right.
When it comes, it's meant to be.
Yeah, it's meant to be. Yeah, nothing forced. It's organic.
Yeah, incredible. That's, like you said, it was just changing that outlook, and making sure you were providing yourself worth and validation first, in order to have that magnetic energy of wanting to have others around, or having that aura to bring others around who have a very similar sense, but wanting to do so with helping you with your validation and getting you past those gatekeepers.
That's how I met Terrence Howell. I think I was on a Clubhouse and I was speaking to other independent artists about my experience and just some encouragement. And Terrence Howell reached out and, he spoke to us about, hey, let's spread this thing further. There's more people out there. And although you went number one, we can grow this thing. And it was a challenge because I was like, yeah, but I'm so comfortable where I'm at. Like, I'm like, like a Jesus hippie. I'm like, I'm cool with it. No, he was like, yeah, but we need to stretch, we must stretch where we're going and stuff like that. And so I believe that. And I realized, okay, this is someone asking to help me, and that made sense. I was like, it worked. The vision was the same. And here I am talking to you, and this is super awesome. And it's years later, and what shows me timing is everything also. I have a new song. It's called Let Him In. And the idea behind this song is I was at a worship event, and as I'm singing, I saw like some people with their hands up. They're like, worshiping. But then I also had this thought that I encountered for myself, is that I've before smiled on the outside, been super cool on the outside, but had like past hurt. And ultimately, we've all learned to drive on, it's a military term, like drive on. We've all been able to be strong. We're super strong individuals. We're resilient as humans. We can endure trauma and get up the next day and go to work. You know, we're like very resilient. And ultimately, the Lord, though, he wants to see us healed. And so even though he wants this, he's like a gentleman. He doesn't force himself on us. So it's our responsibility if we want to invite him in to do it or not. And that's what that song is about. It's about letting him in to heal. You know, the reality for myself is I was traumatized in the military. I went through trauma. I was actually assaulted in the Army. And when I was assaulted in the military, I acted as though it never happened. I wanted to move on and just ignore it, pretend like it never happened, and go about my day. And I was a great actress for a long time. But the Lord knew I didn't deserve that Oscar. He knew, like, nope, you know, and he wanted to heal me. You know what I mean? He was just like, no, we got it. And that's where that Yahweh brought me to an abrupt stop. So even with this, doing the Stellar Awards and even speaking with you, for me, it's God saying, now we're going to do everything the right way. It wasn't that I released this to you, but not through the way you were trying to get it done. And so let him in is about letting God in, healing you from in an area that maybe you don't want anyone to know, or maybe from an area that you're pretending that doesn't exist. God sees it and he wants to touch it. He wants to bandage it up and heal the wound. So that's what it's about in short.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, as long as you are ready and willing, then that opportunity for healing is there for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not forced. You can't go to the doctor and, you know, they're not going to be like, no, we're going to cut your heart open. No, you're not. Or you,
please,
this hospital cut me open. You know, it's not forced, you know, and that's the way the Lord is. He doesn't force that on us. And I love that about him. He gives us that freedom, that choice. And so this song is really just reminding my brothers and my sisters to let God in to deal with the heart, to deal with the issue. Let him work on it so that way you can be whole, that way you can feel great. You know, not saying everything's gonna be perfect, but your outlook about when issues arise will be different.
Exactly. Like having that smiling face on the outside should be coming from within as well. So to really align yourself in order to be able to have that, because that doesn't come easily. It does take time, but when you are ready and willing, right, the opportunity is there.
I heard this saying: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You know, and just, you know, when we look at people on social media, we see what has been painted, what we want people to see. But it's not a true reflection of what's really going on inwardly. And that can be misleading. And the Lord sees, I'm just trying my best to draw attention, something that may not be popular. It's not popular to say, you're smiling, but here's a hug, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's important to acknowledge that, even if you aren't ready to, you know, go down the path of healing, at least acknowledge it, and it'll slowly get you there onto that path.
Yeah, I'm, you know, although I shared earlier in the interview, like I'm super excited that the world is opening up a little bit, and in the United States, we're like, woohoo, we're going, but the reality is, in a global mindset, India is still having shutdowns. Tokyo, honestly, even though the world is preparing to go there, Tokyo is possibly going to be issuing a state of emergency. They're still going through. So, and sometimes in our own world, in the picture we paint, everything is opening. But when we look at it from a bird's eye view, trying our best to see how God may see it, even though we may not be able to do it exactly how he does, but it's still a bigger world. There's still issues going on. There's people who are still fighting this thing, still hurting. And God is the only answer. He's the only antidote.
It's very true. You know, like you were saying, we only see a specific facade at times of what's actually taking place on a larger scale because of what we're tuning into. But there's still a lot to have to move forward from. You know, in North America, we are very fortunate to be at a place where we can say things are slowly opening up. But yeah, think about all of our brothers and sisters in other places around the world that still need our help and support, because it's important to be aware of it and at least know that we're very fortunate, but not to take that for granted as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. To kind of touch on anything else exciting as well, would there be anything that you would want to share in regards to any sort of like upcoming shows or anything related to like sneak peeks that you can share with us or anything on that line?
I have the new video for Let Him In, which I'm super proud of. My husband and my two kids, they did the production, they shot the video, they edited the video. So it's absolutely amazing. The concept that no one knows, that I'm sharing with you guys, is that it's me running from myself and essentially myself ministering to myself to tell myself to, hey, let God in, like let Him heal you. That is what worked for me today. I feel like I'm on top of the world right now, not because of the natural success, but because whether I get another opportunity or not, I feel satisfied. I know what the torment of fear feels like. I know what the torment of working hard for my dream and not seeing it the way I want it. I know what that emptiness feels like, that void. And so in terms of looking forward to, upcoming things, I'm looking forward to you guys seeing the video. Looking forward to the Stellar Awards. Again, because I remember the straw that broke the camel's back for me was not being able to do it. And so now having it to perform, it's like, wow, Lord, I really appreciate you. But I really want to encourage other people who have given up their dream for music, people who are thinking about giving up their dream for music, to tell them don't, and tell them, even if there has been a stop, reactivate and plug into it, and a lot of times the reason why we stop is there's something else that's kind of deterring us. That doesn't do this, that doesn't do that. But once we redefine why we're doing it, the validation feels different. So I'm looking forward to sharing that. And that's my assignment in the world, is to tell other creatives exactly what I'm saying right now. I get it now. I'm like, okay, Lord, I get it. I understand. Yeah. I'm a poster child for don't quit.
It's not always going to be the upward climb.
Yeah, no.
Right? Sometimes there is going to be a drop off. But as long as you are, proud and patient with the journey that you're going on, the end result's always going to be a happy place with a smile on your face, right?
You just see everything that the Lord created in my mouth and no.
That's just how people know the true excitement that you're going through.
Yeah.
Well, it's been so much fun speaking with you. Of course, viewers and tastemakers, go check out Yahweh on the Play MPE player if you haven't already. I mean, everyone's listening to it. It's #1 Billboard charting artist with Yahweh. And of course, we have Let Him In. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. It's been my pleasure to be here with you today and with Jokia. Make sure to follow Play MPE and Jokia on all social media platforms to stay in the loop. Jokia, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and have a stellar time at the Stellar Awards.
Yeah, thank you.